All right, and we're live. Welcome to Talk No Jutsu Live, everyone. I'm Dash Attack, and with me is the one and only Mexican Iron Man.
I'm here for diversity, inclusion, and representation. I think,
Of course
um,
you are, Mike.
and then of course, the first guest you invited couldn't make it tonight. The second guest couldn't make it. I think I was number 47 on the list, right?
No, you were number one.
What? What? I was rereading the messages between us, and like I went back and I read the first one. And I thought it was funny because it says, "Yeah, I want to invite you on. I'm hoping it'll increase my numbers." I'm like, "Well, he probably should have invited someone else if he's looking for good numbers and stuff." But hey, but we're
Hey,
here.
the numbers don't matter. We're here. We're having fun.
We are. So you got an action-packed agenda for us. I probably only have about an hour and 15 minutes tonight, though. I got to warn
Okay,
you.
hour 15's fine. It's good. This is my first stream. Let's go hour 15.
Yeah,
All right,
unless
so
unless you buy a bottle and you sponsor me and I get a little hammered and I can do a little pole dancing for the people that are going to watch the video.
oh,
No, no,
I'm
no.
not.
We'll lose subs. We'll lose what little
Yeah,
subs we
yeah.
have. We're gonna go in the other direction, huh? With subs.
Yeah, we started an OnlyFans. We're all going to be pole dancing.
Uh oh.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's. So you told me you binged Pacific Rim: The Black.
Yeah, you want to start with that tonight?
Yeah. Let's start with something fun. Yeah.
All
What did
right.
you So like, I just finished the second season after waiting a long time after finishing the first season with my father. Um. Yeah, I forced my father to watch anime sometimes. Trying to keep him cultured.
Uh huh.
So yeah, I so anyway, I forgot a bunch of details like between seasons. But so I finished this second season like super quick, and you watched the whole thing in one.
Well, not in one sitting. I didn't sit there and watch 14 episodes in one sitting. But well. So when did we talk? We talked on what, Saturday, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we talked
So
on Saturday.
I went ahead and I think we talked early in the day. Um, and I think we talked earlier that day, and I think it was like around 4 or 5 or something, right? Something like that.
Yeah, no, I think it was at 8.
Oh, it was later. Okay. Well, anyway, so I went downstairs, made dinner, and I went. I went. I went ahead and watched. Started watching it Saturday night. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Today's what? Thursday, Wednesday.
Yeah, today's
Okay.
Wednesday.
So I saw the end of it yesterday. So that means I watched what, 14 episodes in 4 days.
Oh well, you finished the same day as me. I finished it yesterday also.
Yeah, I don't know how in the hell you were able to stop. I don't know how you were able to stop yourself. The story is awesome. The anime is awesome. Everything about this show is awesome. How were you
Yeah.
able to stop?
Well, I mean, I had to because the first it stopped at one season, and then I had to wait like I don't know how long for that second season to drop, which it just did.
Which it just did right recently.
Yeah, it just did the second season. Like it just dropped like this month,
Mm.
and you know what? It was worth the wait. That final was awesome.
Yeah, it was really really great. So for I'm a longtime fan of Pacific Rim in general. Um, I actually liked both um, both movies. I mean, obviously, I like the first movie more than the second movie.
Hmm.
In general, I'm not a fan of anime, as you know from hearing me on Midnight's Edge, after all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just didn't grow up with it. I had zero exposure to it. It's not like I have anything against anime. I just never read manga, comic books, and what little exposure I did have to anime, generally I had a negative experience.
Yeah, it's there's different genres of anime, and
Right.
like there's different like styles. Like not everything like translate. Like there's some anime I don't like or don't watch. Like there's these like comedy animes about high school. That's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like more of the like the action stuff like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z type stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. I mean, that's sort of like comic booky because you have like insane powers and shit.
Yeah. I mean, so you turned me on to this thing, and let me tell you the three things I like most about it. Number one is I absolutely love the storytelling aspect. I thought it was a great story. The character development was awesome. Everybody got a redemption arc.
Yep.
Um, the people that died along the way, there was purpose to why they died, one way or the other.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. Like especially that one death. Um, the without should we do spoilers or
I don't know how to approach it. I think
yeah.
uh,
Um,
the
well,
problem with
yeah,
spoilers is that every single spoiler might ruin the story. But let's talk in broad terms to say,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that redemption. I think I know which one you're talking about. That I did not see that one coming. I literally did not see that
are you
coming.
talking about the dad, the stepdad, the oh my god, what was his name?
Uh,
Shane.
yeah, I'm talking about Shane.
Yeah, you talk about Shane.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Because of what had already been established about his character.
Right. Right. And then I mean, but he wasn't the only. I mean, there were a lot of surprising deaths along the way. I
Yeah,
got to tell you, the character of Boy, when he first came on the scene, annoyed the flying frack out of me for at least 3 episodes.
yeah, but then you saw the end of season one.
Yeah, boy, was that a trip.
Yeah, that's the other thing I really liked about this show is that it really expanded the lore of this Pacific Rim franchise.
Right. I love that it was in Australia.
Yeah, the Australia worked really well for this series. It was cool, like seeing the outback, all those destroyed cities, like the harsh wilderness.
Yeah. Is it my imagination, or did you not feel that this was like a real life? Look, I think the storytelling was so good. It's way better than any movies that any of us have seen anytime, anytime recently.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
I,
not sure who did the story. Like I believe this was done by a Japanese studio, but Netflix has this thing because cartoon is a dirty word these days. They call everything anime, even if it's not made by a Japanese studio.
well, isn't this cartoons? Isn't this style of animation anime style?
Yeah, it's anime style, definitely. It's anime style for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the style of animation is definitely anime. Well, that's the thing. Like, I guess a lot of Western animation studios are also like adopting the anime style because they know it can attract an older audience.
Yeah, because I didn't see anybody associated with this when I saw the credits. Because I was trying to look at the credits. When I saw the credits roll by, I saw nothing about. I saw everything was American names, English names.
Oh, so maybe it was like, I'm sure like there had to be some like American involvement, but yeah, it was really good. Um, I really liked the cult at the end. Like
Mm,
they did a really good job with that cult.
that was absolutely fascinating, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, there's just oh I want to watch the first season again. I really want to watch the first season again.
Right. I kind of I when I finished, I kind of went back myself and I said, you know what? I think I want to rewatch the whole thing. I don't have the time to. I mean, I got to tell you, it was pretty. I couldn't. I couldn't stop watching it. And I normally remember when we and I talked. I said, well, I'll try to get through half of the first season of the first season.
And you
And
watched the whole thing.
I watched all 2 seasons in 4.5, 5 days. It is really hard to get my attention to like something enough to where I want to binge it. And that's a binge for me. Binging for me isn't I stop and I watch it all in one day or 2 days. Binging for me is like like what I just did, 14 episodes, 2 season, and the episodes aren't short, right?
Well, I don't know. The second season episodes were all like about 20 minutes. The final was 25.
Mm,
I mean, like it's shorter than like Arcane episodes were like 40 minutes.
yeah. Did you like Arcane?
Oh, I loved Arcane. It got me to play League of Legends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I gave it a shot. And there's I also I looked into it. Like there is to see. The thing is, I wanted to find out what was going to happen next in the next season. And honestly, like the lore surrounding the Piltover and Zon characters is
Yep.
like so vague that like it could really go anywhere. And there's also this one League YouTuber who says Arcane actually isn't even canon to the main League of Legends stuff. And boy, does League of Legends have a ton of lore. I was like surprised. And like a lot of the areas, it's like they have different fantasy worlds all on the same planet. Like there's a pirate area, there's an Egyptian area, there's like this frozen area.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, like they could do a lot of material with this, but I'm sure they'll like depends how Arcane season two. There's no reason it won't do good.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I was dragged kicking and screaming to watch Arcane. I mean, literally kicking and
Yeah, I
screaming.
mean that's how I got it too, because everyone was suggesting it. Like I first saw it, I'm like, oh, blue hair, pink hair. Like I dismissed it like off right on a first glance.
Well, that was
And,
my reaction too. And I will say this: my one problem with Arcane, if I have any problem at all, and then I'll tell you what the pushback I got from it, because I said this on a pretty big live stream, is that my one problem is that I didn't like that none of the core central heroes were guys, because and maybe it's because I'm a father of a 9 year old, but I'm constantly looking for entertainment that is provides my son with positive male role models. And I mean, the pushback I got was, well, what about I mean, he's a villain in the story.
oh, Silco, yeah, Silco's like the antagonist. I mean, he's a complex antagonist and a great one.
Right.
Hashtag Silco did nothing wrong. But yeah, um, but no, I see what you're saying. Like, Jace, like, I guess could have been that, but like he was dealing with a lot of like, Jace isn't all that like he's not all that pure. He did some shady stuff, especially stabbing Heimerdinger in the back.
Right. I mean, I to me that he is not a great role model for my 9 year old, or even, he's not a guy I'm cheering on. You know,
Yeah, but there are
when the good guy goes bad, you need to see the good guy become good. But I think they took him to such a weird, dark place so hard and so fast. Um, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. But
yeah,
his character, so he's not someone I was rooting for.
yeah. So I guess like we'll probably see more of Elko next season. The the black kid,
Yeah.
he's a pretty popular character with the League of Legends stuff. So I'm sure they'll get him a lot. Like in the game he has like he invents some kind of time travel stuff. So he does a lot of time gimmicks stuff. So like that like really cool sequence when he fought Jinx and
Oh yeah.
like it kind of like went into 2D for a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome sequence. It was kind of foreshadowing his time travel like ability stuff.
I see. So that's what that was. So he has time travel ability.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not so much as a drift or a. Okay, I get it. That
yeah,
makes sense.
but from what I understand of his lore, he can only travel back 6 seconds.
Mm.
Like, and there's another guy who's like who has time travel abilities in from Ikartha, some long dead city who apparently can like is has traveled back to the beginning and end of time. I don't know that too much about that character. Only he's like one of the more, I guess, zany. League of Legends has like over 150 characters. Apparently, the game,
Wow.
yeah, the game came out in 2009, and like apparently they just keep. It's like people still play the game, so they just keep adding, and like they've added a ton of lore. And as far as positive role models, obviously like the game predates woke, so like obviously there are some really cool male characters in League of Legends. Whether or not they'll appear in Arcane is remains to be seen. But I know this Yasuo guy, this samurai. Oh, he's not actually. I guess you wouldn't call him a role model. I mean, he is kind of a drunk, from what I understand. I got this tie-in game called The Ruined King that it has a bunch of the characters. It's an RPG, and
Uh,
I put Yasuo in the party a lot. He's pretty interesting. Anyway, I think we got a little sidelined. Let's talk about this development going on Twitter.
okay. Well,
Yes.
I think it's funny. Someone asked me yesterday on Midnight Sage After Dark, have I noticed anything different or weird? And I have to my Twitter feed. I picked up, I don't know, 80, 100. I'm not big on Twitter. I only have 1,000 people following
Yeah,
me.
I mean I've only returned to like really like just like share my videos. I quit Twitter like a long time ago. Like 2020 was a rough year for everyone, and then like I just after the election I just wanted to get away from all the toxicity and all the news, and
Okay.
just like focus on entertainment. And I think that did a great for my mental health, just like being away from Twitter and just all the constant bombardment of just it was messing with my brain, Mike.
Really?
I think it was. I think Twitter, like the way it was being run. I mean, like like it has like you get all these news stories, you get all these like these news cancellations, you get all this toxic content 24/7, just boom, 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 boom. And in 2020, it was just like everything in 2020 was cranked up to 11. So it just like it really wore me out. So like I've kind of like been trying to like get away from like political news and stuff like that. But some good things have been happening, so I've been kind of getting my peeping back in, I guess. But I just felt like focusing on entertainment is just a little bit easier.
Well, like anything in life, everything is okay except and unless when when it's too much. Everything's good in moderation. The thing about me and Twitter is that I'm awful on Twitter because I hate social media in general. I'm an accountant by my career, so the more interruptions I get during the day, whatever those interruptions are, it impedes my ability to make money and get work done. So, I don't have
Yeah,
any notifications turned on. I don't
yeah,
check.
me either.
I stopped using Facebook. I haven't can't remember the last time I logged in
I
Instagram.
never really got into Facebook ever.
And Twitter, all I do is check my DMs, and at that, I barely only do that every couple of days, and that's just because everybody who does live streaming that we all talk to each other via DMs on Twitter. But like as far as notifications, my feed, checking out what other people are posting, I don't have time for any of that shit.
Yeah, yeah. Who
I don't
cares?
have time, and I don't make time, and it pisses people off because a lot of people will put stuff on my wall and they're like, "Hey, did you see I tagged you?" and stuff. I'm like, "Man, what do you want me to say?" I like, I mean, as it is, I don't have enough time to listen to all the YouTube channels that I like to listen to.
Hmm.
I got to make, I can't listen to 20, 30, 40 hours worth of live streams every week.
Oh yeah, some of those live streams on some of those channels go real long.
Yeah, well, I
Like
mean, we do. I
Baller.
mean, and midnights. I mean, I'm guilty of that because on Sunday nights, Doomcock, our show runs 4 to 6 hours.
Wow.
Midnight's Edge. I mean, just last week, I think it was last week Monday or something like that. We had. I mean, sometimes we go 4 to 5 hours.
Oh yeah, I remember. I like one stream recently. Like one of the morning streams went longer than it normally did.
Right.
I do remember that. I know because I think it was on a Wednesday, and I have an appointment Wednesday that lasts about an hour, and you guys were still going.
Yeah, isn't that funny? So, from your perspective, what do you think of this Twitter stuff?
Well, I think it's good that like I feel like a lot of like the bad things that have happened like in the past couple of years have happened with like Twitter being poorly moderated and partially encouraging bad behavior on other people.
Sure.
Yeah. And so like with if Musk is able to like, clean house and assuming like, the government or something doesn't like try and I don't know, like take it back like using some nefarious means. I mean, who knows at this point, but like I think I welcome any opportunity to reform that platform, whatever it takes, because like it's just too powerful.
I agree with you. I mean, too many people use it. If for no other reason than the fact that these big media companies and sports companies use this as a way to gauge things, then it's important. Even though Twitter is not quote real life,
Yeah,
Twitter sure as hell has the ability to affect our real life.
exactly. Like, I think it's so stupid how these companies like try and like gauge Twitter to see what the pulse is. And most of the time it's wrong.
Right.
It's I think you know I want this channel to be you know an uplifting channel, like to give people like well, one of the reasons why I really wanted to get into this also is because like I noticed like there's been a bit of a a lot of people have kind of gone a lot of YouTubers have gone burnt out. I think like they kind of no longer hope that like things can get better, that entertainment can get better, that everything's just going to be like an endless churn of shit. And I've seen, and then you see like good things like this Sonic movie franchise, and you know then occasionally a good Netflix show comes on, and occasionally a great game comes out, and I feel like a lot of that stuff gets overlooked sometimes in like because everyone wants to focus on like the next like big shitstorm.
So, let me ask you this question. So, in terms of YouTube, what's brought you onto YouTube? Like, I've known you for a long time in the live stream and the chat streams.
Yeah,
So, I mean, but you've had a YouTube account for a long time, right?
yeah, since high school.
So that's what, 10 years ago?
Like it. Let's see. My account was created in 2008.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm pretty old school, I guess. But I didn't really use it. I have like if you browse my channel, you'll see some of my animation stuff, some of my like my full disclosure, I was a brony once. So
A what?
uh you know yeah you see there was this thing that happened in the early 2000s where a new iteration of My Little Pony came out, and then it was actually a really good show, and so a fandom formed it over that show that surprised even the showrunners, and that's how
Okay.
the whole bronies thing like came. It was like a real joke, like I had like it basically like
So you're a My Little Pony follower
I was
or
for a
fan?
bit. The show of that like Gen 4 Friendship is Magic. I mean, because it was actually a good show. Like that's the funny thing. It had
Right.
very good lessons. It had really good animation. It's one of those things you had to have been there. Like, I think it started out as a meme on 4chan, and it just kind of like evolved to where they actually had conventions. I mean, I met John Delancey because of it. He voiced a character.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he was basically playing the same character he plays in Star Trek Generations. Um, the Next Generation. I mean, he has the same powers and personality and everything. His name was Discord, the Spirit of Chaos. Let's see if I can get a picture. Um, let's see. This is good practice.
Yeah, it is. That's why we're doing it, buddy.
Okay.
What are you doing?
No, I'm trying practicing the screen share. Okay, let's see. Share window. Yeah. So he played this same character who basically was this like evil chaos spirit, like basically a god. He would troll the ponies constantly. So he was just basically playing the same character he played in Star Trek. And now I'm not a big Star Trek fan, but I did see the pilot episode, because I was curious. And
Okay.
like, yeah, they're basically the same exact character. He basically just played. They wrote him as the same character, just in the My Little Pony thing, and
That's funny.
yeah, like the fandom really liked it. They added a lot of like, once the showrunners realized who was actually watching the show, well, they actually they did try it, like, but they threw in some like big Doctor Who references and stuff. It was a real like time in the internet, I for sure. So anyway, that was my college uh those were my college days. um I I got bored with it after season 6.
Mm. So more recently, then, so and then on YouTube, you've been a long time, chat live stream participant. So now with your channel, talk a little bit about what do you want to do with this channel? What made you decide, hey, I wanted to be a YouTuber and I started doing live streams and all that?
Well, like I said before, I want, like, to help, like, uplift people, like, who are basically like, I read a lot of YouTube comments also, and like, there's just so many people that I feel like have just given up, that have just kind of like let like a lot of like, bad entertainment like really bring them down. And I feel like, we can find the good stuff, and we can like show them to people, and we can rip up on the bad stuff too. But like, that's really what I want to do. Like, so I got really into YouTube when, The Last Jedi, was the like the watershed moment for a lot of people. Definitely me. I was the biggest Star Wars fan. Like, I defended the prequels. I just loved Star Wars. And you know, I saw what JJ was doing with The Force Awakens, like all the shade he threw at the prequels, like all the OT pandering he was doing, and then like, and even I kind of got fooled with like, I did think like, the Ray character was kind of crap, but like I gave the movies a chance, with that second movie, and it was even worse.
Mm. Yeah, so basically you want to uplift and inspire.
Yeah, I do want to uplift. I want to inspire. I'm going to be doing some gaming also on the channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So what?
I'm even thinking about doing this whole VTube thing that's really popular in the anime circles. Have you ever heard about that?
No, I have no idea what that is. What's that?
So basically, I think this started in Japan, where like a bunch of them like started making 3D models that look like anime characters, and then using programs to like place them so it looked like that, so it looks like they're streaming. It's called like virtual YouTubing. So like it's this pretty like new phenomenon, and I felt like, it's mostly like girls or people pretending to be girls like doing it. But so that I decided I you know what, I bet it could help the channel. I'll jump in. So I asked some Indonesians to recreate my Final Fantasy 14 character. I'm gonna get a 3D model, and I'm gonna try and figure out how it works, and I'm gonna game with this so I don't have to show my face.
Oh, that's pretty funny and awesome. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
that's super cool idea. I like that.
yeah. I hope it works out. I'm super excited. The artist they actually just sent this today. They're gonna start modeling now.
So
Uh, the-
what are your favorite what are your favorite like games?
my favorite games, well, Halo, of course. I'm really into I play a lot of JRPGs. I like action games. Like, I've my big things, like, a lot of people, like, they have comic books and stuff. Um I have anime, and I have video games. Those are like my grounds of expertise. So I know a lot about games.
I've always been a first person shooter guy. Did I tell you how I got started at gaming?
No.
So it was so Halo for me was my real well, two things happened at once. I won't say that I was, one of the first. Well, I don't know. Maybe too many people. This is going to be a bit early in the days, but it was, I think, 2003 or 2004, and I worked with this IT guy who worked at this company that I was at the time, and we started playing Unreal Tournament.
Mm,
Um, and
nice.
uh,
Classic.
and we started by going to garage lands. Like back we'd pick up our computers, our monitors, and go
Oh
meet up
yeah,
in
that
someone's.
was definitely before, like, uh, you know Unreal Tournament. That's like super old school. Like, I jumped in at Halo 2.
Yeah, and then that led to Halo, and of course I bought a Halo Xbox. I've had every version of Xbox that's ever been created, and basically
Yeah.
when I get the new one, I just give the old one to somebody else. Usually a young kid.
Oh,
Uh,
that's nice.
yeah, I've done that 5 times, 6 times now. Um, and so we just got really into it. So we came up with this idea to do bigger LAN events, and what started in garages ended up turning into, and this was really quick. Like, this is from 2003 to by 2004, like a year later. Like, our LAN party, our little garage lands were growing, and we noticed that we were starting to go to different people. So we're like, all right, look, if we go to the same five guys' houses over and over again, and each time we go there, there's anywhere from easily 5 to 12 guys there every time, right? And we're all picked, plug it into like a switch, right?
Hmm.
A little um Cat 5 switch. We're like, well, let's ramp this up. So one guy, there were three of us, um me, Andres, and oh my god, I can't remember the third guy's name. It was Andres' friend, and he never talked much, so I never really talked to him. But that guy was in charge of the servers. Andres was in charge of really pretty much the. When I say he was in charge of servers, he was in charge of making sure all the game servers work correctly. Andres was in charge of the tech, and my job was to raise money and do the organization and marketing. So we got up to a point over those next few years by 2000 and was I want to say by 2007 and 8, we were running like 200-man LAN events with gig switches, which at the time was a big deal.
Mm.
And we're running all fiber optic cable. Dude, we had like zero fucking latency, like zero. Like
Oh, wow.
like we would ping our servers against each other and with everybody, and we ran a tournament style. So we had simultaneously. So our big games where we did Battlefield, We of course did Halo. We did Call of Duty, the way back when Call of Duty.
Yeah, like back when it was good.
Yeah, and Unreal Tournament. So those were our four. Those were our four server games, and we ran two servers of each. We had four. We're really running eight servers, but they were running four boxes, huge boxes that we built. And our biggest problem at the time was keeping the fucking boxes cool.
Oh, did it heat a lot?
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, this is before you have like, I mean, like my PC box that's behind me. Here, I'll turn my camera on real quick. Here, the one behind me. Can you see that? Can you see that red box
Yeah, that the one that's like glowing.
right there?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's all liquid cooled and stuff.
yeah.
So, but anyway, so going back to what I was saying, so the way we did it is we ran tournaments, and so the biggest event the two biggest events we had started on a Friday, and we did them at, God, which hotel was it? I can't remember the name of it. It was on 880 on this in Redwood City. Anyway, so we would run tournaments. So Friday night was free for all fun day. So you just plug in, make sure your shit works. 4 hours, 6 to 10, blah blah blah. Okay, and then you can register. Saturday morning we did tournament registration, and so Saturday we ran the actual tournament until whenever we were done, and we would finish like between like, I think the first time we finished around 10 or 11. The second time we did it, we finished like at 3 in the morning. And we had DJs. We had DJs that came in for free to spin. We had hot looking girls that were on stage dancing
Yeah.
for
Oh,
intermissions.
oh,
We had
that's nice.
we had giveaways. I had managed to talk to Nvidia and Logitech to sponsor. We gave away high end gaming cards, mice, keyboards. I mean, this is way back. This
Wow,
is
so
like,
this really blew up.
yeah, this is like 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we didn't really make any money, but we covered our costs. But we had so much fun. The first two or three that we did, we lost money. We didn't
Uh,
really care because we had so much fun. But and then our goal was just to break even. And in the last event that we had, we made some money. But really, all it just covered the losses from the first few that we did. So it was amazing. I mean, it was really, really amazing. And the other thing that we had, Dash, is that we had me coming from a performing DJ background. I was a performing DJ for 30 years.
oh wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah, I mean, so I'd been DJing, I mean, at the time, like I mean, that's how I got my down payment on my house. I DJ'd in college. I DJ'd for years afterwards. Like it was something that I just always did. I mean, not a lot, but I mean, I would say out of every month, I probably had on average 2 gigs a month, 6 to 8 months out of the year, and for 2 or 3 decades, basically. So, um, so I did take a break in there. There were about 2 or 3 years where right when I got married, I stopped spinning, but then I got right back into it. Like once the honeymoon was over, which was 2 or 3 years later after we got married. But anyway, so we had 10-foot screens, two 10-foot screens on either side. So we had like, if you can imagine, what we did is we had these long rows. We had four rows of 50 guys, and on the four rows, they would face each other. They would set up the PC boxes. So we had four rows going down. Um, and then we had a huge stage at the end and on risers, and so that's where our servers were, but on the risers lifted up. I mean, it was really like a concert in a lot of ways, because when you walked in, you saw two huge 10-foot screens on either side of the banquet hall.
And they're all playing Halo and Call of Duty.
Yeah, and so when we got to the finals, I think the finals we started with, um well, Unreal Tournament was for fun. So all the prizes had to be Battlefield, Call of Duty, and Halo. And so the cool thing is that once the tournament started, um, we had qualifiers during the day, and then once the tournament started and people started getting eliminated, they started watching each other. So now it's no big deal because you're used to seeing esports and seeing shit highly produced. Dude, we were doing that back then. Like I had video controllers, and And so we would be on the servers doing first person view of each gamer. So people were watching, you were in the game watching it, but you were seeing it on these 10-foot screens. And we had my DJ system. So we had these huge speakers all the way around of the game audio playing.
Oh wow,
So
that's wild.
yeah, and this is back in the early 2000s.
I know, like that's amazing. You could set it up like especially like before Xbox Live or
Yeah, this was before. I remember when Xbox Live came out, the tournaments came out. We never used consoles. Everything we did was on PCs, right?
yeah. So that makes it easier.
Yeah, it was so much easier. But when I remember when the first Xbox console tournament showed up, we were like, "Fuck, we've been doing this already for a while. What the fuck?" You know. So I mean, it was just a lot of work. And then what happened is that the company we're all working for, I left the company that Andres was at. Andres fell in love, got married, moved to Bakersfield, and when we weren't physically around each other, it was impossible to do another event. So basically, life made us stop. But that was our gaming. And since then, Halo's been a part of my life ever since. Like it's my go-to game. I've played every iteration and every version. I've done every campaign at least once, if not 2 to 4 times
The only one
each.
I didn't finish was Halo 5, but only because the campaign was co-op based and no one I knew had an Xbox One. And the one guy who did sold his copy of Halo 5.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
So
I never finished. I never finished, but but now like it's kind of gotten like a really bad rep. People like oh Halo 5, oh it ruined the series, and now like we have this Halo show, and now Halo 5 isn't looking so bad now.
I think that's an excellent observation. I think that's an excellent point that you're making. I remember a year ago when I heard that Halo was coming out this year. Man, I was so excited. And then that first early teaser trailer, where you can see sort of the grittiness and the ships and all that.
Yeah,
And of
that's
course, of course, I'm a red versus blue fan.
yeah.
Of course, I've seen all the fan films, right?
Hmm.
Some are great, some are okay, some not so great, but they've all been fun.
I've
And
seen some of the like live action stuff, like the commercials, and like some of the previous live action stuff, like I don't know the one where they're on the asteroid, and then there was Forward Until Dawn. Have you seen Halo Legends?
Halo Legends, no, what the hell is that?
Oh, it was an anime anthology.
Oh, what am I talking about? Yeah, sorry, I blinked for a second. I thought it was a video game. Sorry,
Yeah,
I blinked. Sorry.
yeah. So okay, so you have seen it. Yeah. So yeah, what's really disappointing about this show is that some of the action and the set pieces are really good, but this whoever was running this show just focused on all the freaking wrong things, and obviously was trying to pull some kind of Rian Johnson, like subverting like it just feels like some sort of practical joke.
Hmm.
So like I'm I went into this Halo show really wanting to like it as someone who's played like all the games and read like a bunch of the early books, like the Bungie ones.
Right.
So I knew like yeah, this was I mean episode 5, like people are all like going, "Oh my god, episode 5." Like they cut 20 minutes out of that episode, but I guess that's all right because what else were they going to do with that 20 minutes but do all the talking that's been killing the show?
Dude, all I know is this. Like, there's like no version of Mexican Iron Man that ever wanted to see Master Chief's butt cheeks.
Master Cheeks.
Bro, did you hear my rant the other day on Doomcock Show?
Oh yeah, I did. I did hear your Master Cheeks rant. Oh, that was epic.
Dude, like there is zero version of Mexican Iron Man. There's no alternative reality at all anywhere on the planet where Mexican Iron Man wants to see Master Chief's butt cheeks.
Most people don't want to see Master Chief moping and complaining about his feelings and shit. But here we are.
How does Master Chief even have feelings?
Master Chief always had. It's not that like okay, this stupid showrunner made this stupid thing about the emotion pellet, the emotion suppressor. That does not exist in Halo lore. I read The Fall of Reach. Chief
Right.
was kidnapped as a child, and he knew he was kidnapped as a child. He was trained and indoctrinated by the UNSC, and he accepted that. They all did.
Right.
Like, most of those kids, and Dr. Halsey, like, she knew, like, she knew, part of her knew, like, she was a monster, but she also knew, like, this is for the greater good and stuff. So that's her character. Yeah, but like this version of Halsey is just like she's lying to Chief, which she didn't do. Like, like Chief knew the deal he was in. Like he was brought up like knowing like the importance. And then when the Covenant attacked, like he actually did have like, you know, before it was just stopping these like, these upset like terrorists, and now like you have like the whole all of humanity at stake. And that's also another thing the show isn't touching on, is that it focuses more on the UNSC being shit than the Covenant being genocidal specious monsters.
Right. Now, why do you think? Don't okay. Not why. Well, don't you find it fascinating that in general in Hollywood and obviously in this show, there's such an aversion towards letting bad guys and bad evil people be bad evil people, creatures, etc.
Yeah, like it's the simple thing. Like the Covenant are were designed by Bungie to be straightforward bad guys. They're religious zealots. They're supremacists. They want complete genocide of humanity. They are not like a likable faction at all. Like it's like every bad thing like you could ever think of on this earth, they put into the Covenant.
Yeah, I just find it absolutely infuriating.
The idea that that like they're not even going into like the Covenant's motives or everything. Like, like we assume it's the same as the games, but you can't assume that now because like they've changed so much already.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing. Like the show isn't friendly to either like fans or even newcomers because, like, for one, there's certain parts where it expects you to know the lore, and in other parts, it wants you to completely disregard it. You can't do both.
No, 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 no. I find it infuriating and just just awful. But I love what your mission is and your mission is for this channel because I got to tell you, like for example, you recommending that I see the Black um, um, Pacific Rim, the Black. I got to tell you, I it was thoroughly enjoyable, and I got to tell you, I'm sick of bitching about stuff.
Yeah,
I think two things that I don't like about YouTube right now, and I'm going to agree with you. One is I think people have gotten too negative about too much stuff. Although there is an argument to be made that we need to call shit out when
we
there's
do
bad.
need to call shit out.
But
We
just
we absolutely
personally, it
do.
gets exhausting to always be negative and always be bitching. The other thing too is that I notice is that to me, I really think if you're gonna analyze or talk about a topic or a show or whatever, you better have seen it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless it's a situation where you're like, well, then you can say, look, the trailer didn't enthuse me, and thus I never saw it because I'm not interested. But to go beyond that and to start slicing and dicing when you haven't seen it, I think that's a little bit,
Well,
um, you know,
well, like like after after Gina, I was like really like I was done with like the MCU and stuff, but Spider-Man, the trailers and with the Sony partnership, it was just really good, and like it turned out being even better than I expected. Like you went into No Way Home expecting, oh, it's going to be fan service, maybe Toby will show up, and then there was actually a really good story that like held all that fan service together.
Yeah, I find it fascinating that a lot of people have been critical of No Way Home. Man, I gotta tell you, I love it. Do you know I went to see it 3 times?
I saw it twice.
Oh, you did too, then.
Yeah, I saw it twice. It was really really good. Thing is, I'm not getting that same confidence in Doctor Strange, even with Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi doesn't have any control over this project.
Right.
You're right. I just like I just when I heard the Patrick Stewart voice in the trailer, I just oh my god, it's just going to be No Way Home without the substance and with characters barely anyone cares about like anymore, like the Fox X-Men, like we're gonna have like I don't know oh Elliot Page as you know the girl that walks through walls,
Right.
right? Like we're gonna have like I I don't know though then again anytime I could I saw Holly Berry in Moonfall. I mean like she's doing all right.
Moonfall, is that sci-fi one?
Yeah, it was just a dumb disaster movie. I saw it. It bombed in the box office, but I went and saw it.
What is it worth Mexican Iron Man's time to check it out?
Yeah, it's really dumb. It is really dumb. You might lose some brain cells watching it, but like yeah, give it a shot. Well, what the hell?
All right, so what's a movie that you would describe that it's a dumb movie? Like give me an example. It would be like going to watch what?
Um, I don't know. I guess um okay. I wouldn't say it's like The Happening, like because that was like that had a lot of unintentionally really funny moments. But I guess like I guess it's kind of like Independence Day and 2012 meshed together.
Okay. Hmm. All right. Well, that doesn't sound so bad. I mean, I actually like 2012, even though I shouldn't, but I
Well,
did.
it's the same director, so you might
Oh,
like.
is it really?
Yeah,
Hmm. Well, I like 2012. I
yeah.
mean,
There's not as much destruction as there was in 2012, but the whole like when the moon starts getting really close to Earth, some really cool shit with gravity starts happening. Like, and that causes some really like wild like scenarios.
hmm. Cool. So, what else have you seen recently in the movies?
uh, Movies of Sonic 2, which was fantastic. Have you seen Sonic 2?
Oh yeah, let's talk. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. We got like 15 minutes left. Let's talk about some Sonic 2. Oh my god. Yeah, I thought it was definitely like since I'm a big like gamer, like I've never actually beaten any of the classic Sonics except for Sonic CD, but apparently I got the bad ending because I didn't get all the Chaos Emeralds or something.
Okay.
But I played like a lot of the 3D Sonic games, which had like more story, so I know a little bit of like the Sonic lore, the game lore at least, because like there's also like the comics. I don't know anything about the comics,
Hmm.
but
So, I'm not the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog guy, like at all. Like, but I thoroughly love this movie. I really enjoyed the first one, but the second one, man, I had a freaking blast.
yeah, what it did really well is unlike what Halo's doing, it like took like aspects of like the game's like story and the characters and how they're supposed to act, and it made it fit into this world where like Sonic is like in our world, and like it made it all like fit. Like Knuckles is supposed to be the guardian of the Master Emerald, and he watches it on this floating island called Angel Island. and that doesn't happen in this. But you notice by the end of the movie, he restores the Master Emerald. He does that in the games. Like sometimes the Master Emerald breaks, and he has to like collect the pieces. So
Yeah.
like in a
So,
way, he becomes the Guardian by the end of Sonic Two.
mm, yeah. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was really entertaining. I thought the jokes like were landing left and right.
Oh, they were hilarious. Like it's just like just Jim Carrey and Ernest Elba were just like shooting them out. It was just like a nonstop joke after joke just kept landing.
Oh my god! Like there was one time where he said, where there was yeah, they're fighting, they're arch enemies, and then they made a comment like it's kind of like Fast and the Furious with with
The Rock and
and oh my god, what's his name?
uh oh yeah,
Oh
that
my
guy,
god, The Rock and
Vin Diesel.
yeah, Vin Diesel and The Rock. When he said that, I literally laughed out loud completely.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think they really got something there that they can build on because if you take me, who is not a huge Sega guy, not a big, I didn't go to this like, oh, I'm this fan and I want to see what they did, and I had a good time. And I mean, Jesus,
yeah. They should keep what they're doing. Like they should keep what they're like. The formula they got works. Like and so like it works for people who don't know anything like about like Sonic, and it works for people who do know and who can get it. Like there were apparently like references that went over my head. Like so apparently there's one shot that like references the game Sonic Heroes, which I only rented from Blockbuster. I never really like so, but I recently bought it off eBay. Because like I had Sonic on the mind after the movie, so like what the hell? So I got the PS2 copy. I'm not really sure what the reference was though, but I'm sure like there's like some video going over every like. But
well,
the big
there's a ton of references that I'm sure were in the movie that I didn't get, but that to me is one of the things that made it awesome, which is that you didn't have to know all the nooks and crannies. Maybe those nooks and crannies made the film even that much more enjoyable, but it wasn't required that you had to have those nooks and crannies
yeah.
of lore in order to make it enjoyable.
Okay, like the end credit scene with Shadow. So like even like if you don't know who Shadow is, and trust me, like that scene is super rewarding. If as especially I'm a big Shadow guy because like he was introduced in the game that kind of like really got me into Sonic games. I had watched the '90s cartoon as a kid.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched both actually. Yeah, so in fact, I didn't even know Sonic was a video game till like I played this game with Shadow in it. The
That's
way,
so funny, bro, because Sonic was everywhere for years.
yeah, I know he was. I mean, that's how he got his own show. Like Sonic was like so big, so it did trickle down to me. Me like I mean, I was born in '92, so like I'm almost like the same age as Sonic when it comes to like everything. Like
Right.
Sonic came out in '91. I so Yeah, so like I rewatched the end credit scene a bunch of times on YouTube, and the thing that stood out to me was the music
Hmm.
as the smoke comes out and you see him like come out, and I'm like, that is some hype shit. Like I even said in one of my videos, even like the Marvel end credit scenes don't really like give me that level of excitement. Like
Hmm.
I knew it was coming from a leak, and I still like was like smiling ear to ear. Like the
Hmm.
theater blew up, like because they all knew who he was, and the third one's going to be very interesting. And you want to know what's something very interesting? Shadow actually had his own game called Shadow the Hedgehog, and the director of Sonic actually worked at Blur Studios, and he did like rendered cutscenes for that game
Hmm.
apparently. So like he said like in a year interview, like he says like he feels like he's going like full circle. So not only like you have a director who has also worked on in the Sonic franchise at some capacity. It was just rendering and directing some cutscenes, that the engine couldn't run on its own. But that's still like something like I just wish the people that were in charge of these Sonic movies were in charge of Halo, because then like we could be getting like more action, more like faithfulness to the characters. We wouldn't have all this like unnecessary like we could have some stoicism, some fight against humanity, not all this like, oh, look how evil this military is and shit.
Right. Orange Man bad.
Yeah, except Orange Man's gone. And
Right.
yeah, and yeah, he's it's Spaceman bad now.
Yeah, Spaceman bad.
Spaceman bad.
Spaceman bad. Hey, I might have to cut it a little short tonight. My dog is like scratching at the door hard.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm kind of running out of steam anyway. So yeah, we'll call it a night. Thank you so much for coming on, Mike.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you. I'm glad we're streaming because I wanted to tell you if there's another series out there, maybe like in another month or two or whatever. Let me know, and I'll be happy to watch it and review it with you. You know,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely keep my eyes out.
I mean, you obviously have. I mean, to get to. I mean, I think a lot of the reason why I went ahead and watched it wasn't just because I was going to be on your live stream, but I've known you for. Well, I mean, not now. I know you, but I mean, the point
Yeah,
of the matter is that I feel like I've known you forever. So,
really.
yes. Well, dude, it's one of the things that I try to do in live streams, and I hope it's what I don't make a big deal of it, but I hope it's something that I bring to the table is that, maybe look, a lot of people know me because I throw super chats here, there, and everywhere and all that stuff because, I work really hard. I have a little extra money and I want to support all these channels. But I hope the real value I add when I'm on these live streams is the fact that I'm a fan. And since I'm not myself giving a shit about being a YouTuber myself, I like talking to the people in the chat because I remember when I didn't have money, there were times I didn't have money at all, the super chat at all. And I feel like, okay, I'm enjoying the show, but I'm not feeling part of it, in terms of connecting. And one of the things I always try to do is if someone says hi to me in the chat stream, like I'll be on a show, and I'm sure you've seen me do it for hours. And I'm on the show talking with the panelists, but at the same time, I'm having multiple conversations with people in the chat stream
Yeah, I
about stuff so that they don't feel that they have to super chat per se, especially the ones that can't afford it. Everybody wants to feel part of something, and
yeah,
you know
I get, I know the same way. Like like, and that's like one of the things like that's really drawn me to Midnight's Edge is because like I'm not I'm really like I don't like have a lot like going on in my life right now, and a lot of like the people around me like my don't really have like the same interests as me. So Midnight's Edge and the chat is like my way of like talking about geek stuff like there. But obviously like Andre and Tom have like being like a little older than me, like they grew up with different things, so their interests are a little bit different. I do try with my super chats to bring some of like my experience to to the conversation.
right, and you do a great job of that. That's why I feel that I've known you. That's why I was making the comment that I feel like I've known you for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad we everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, my brother. Get a good night's rest. I'm gonna go walk this dog before he does anything he shouldn't do in the house. So and I
Yeah.
will talk to you later.
Adios, amigo.
Thanks, brother. Peace out.